CO Halito. What's up, cuz?
Hey, I do. Chicken okay. What's going on with you, cuz?
Oh, nothing much. We just closing out this month, although um the first week in November is also it's the Day of the Dead, All Saints Day, All Souls Day.
Mm-hmm.
This is just a prelude, and I just wanted to share a main herb, a root, and take a look at this book
Mm-hmm.
on hoodoo, since hoodoo is comprised of American Indian traditions mixed with the diasporic traditions, whether you from any part of the diaspora, including Agbulan, Africa. So
Okay.
that's what I'm on, cuz.
All right. Yes, I'm to everybody, peace to anybody who's in the chat tonight. You know what I'm saying? And please ask questions. Ask questions, We are here to answer questions, and if we don't know the answer, we shall find them together.
Yeah.
And I like to put it out there that this is the first and the only Southeastern podcast, the original. Everybody else is duplicated.
Well, it's a form of flattery.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But other than that, let's get it over here.
All right. Yeah. Peace to everybody in the chat. Thank y'all for tuning in. This is a short show. I got shit to do and Pa got shit to do. So, we just gracing y'all with our presence for a short period of time. So, an important root in
John
hoodoo,
Conqueror.
John the Conqueror, also known as High John the Conqueror. All
Hmm.
right.
That's a
Yeah.
powerful root right there.
Yes, it is, because it has helped me.
Hmm.
I'm a witness. Yeah, it's some certain things that certain traditions, when you get um a conqueror root, you want to cleanse it first.
Hmm.
You want to cleanse it first, and then you want to give thanks and put it in some whiskey. You want to put it in some whiskey, power it up more. In both traditions, in American Indian and diasporic traditions, we um, we have a relationship with nature, the earth, um, herbs and roots. Great Spirit, the Creator, creators put them here for healing, for medicine. So even though there is poison, there is a balance. There's good and bad. So you got medicine and then you got poison. So the medicine is there to combat the poison. Let's see. So a singer that made High John the Conqueror root famous was Muddy Waters.
The old
Yes.
blues, the
Yeah.
old, all better yet, shot time, Choctaw
All
blues.
right.
I'll put a spell on you.
You almost made me spit my food out when you start
I'm the
singing.
Gucci man. I'm a
Yeah.
man. MAIN. I'm a man.
Yeah. They got that there.
Cadillac Records, baby.
Yeah. All right. They even list some different hoodoo practitioners. All right. They said Frederick Douglass received a High John the Conqueror root from an enslaved conjurer, a prisoner of war conjurer named Sandy Jenkins, for protection against slaveholders.
Mm.
So that's interesting. But St. John the Conqueror root is used for protection. You could put it in a mojo bag or a medicine bag. Um,
Mm-hmm.
all right. And this practice of hoodoo is an amulet consisting of a flannel bag containing one or more magical items. It is a prayer in a bag or a spell, quote unquote, that can be carried with or on the person's body.
Mm-hmm.
Also gree bag.
Right.
So it's it can be a medicine pouch, or you could call it a mojo bag or a gree bag. It's just it's this it's in the same category of medicine, something that heals and protects.
Right.
Um, there's conjurers in hoodoo, and there's conjurers in American Indian spirituality. Um, so this is something that's basically hoodoo is like a big pot of gumbo. Has many indigenous and diasporic practices. Um, there are some famous people that practice hoodoo. Let me see. And I have this book. Um, Zora Neale Hurston is one famous person that kind of, not only do they look at Muddy Waters, they look at
Mm-hmm.
her for hoodoo. And let me see. Okay. Okay, it's also known as binweed, jalap root. It can be a laxative, a strong laxative. So you don't
Mm-hmm.
really want to ingest this shit, y'all. You just want to keep it in your medicine pouch or your mojo bag or your gree bag.
If you don't know what you're doing, you might just shit your life away,
Ooh, yes.
cramping and wind up getting dehydrated.
Mhm. It's also related to morning glory and the sweet potato, the
Mm-hmm.
high conqueror root. Um, it's also good for PMS for you ladies. That PMS shit that goes on during your menses or menstruation. So it's good for that. But you want to, like I said, you want to tread lightly.
Mm-hmm.
Another conjure, okay, it talks about St. John's wort root is a thin and thread-like root, while John the Conqueror root is tuber.
Yeah, download to the pan. I mean to the viewers, to the people in the chat. Yes, download. Thank you for
Yeah,
joining.
Co Halito. Okay. Um,
Yeah, that's a lot of medicine. Most people don't know you have a lot of medicine in your pantry. You
yes.
know,
Yeah, we did speak on that. Um,
a
not
couple of
last
weeks ago.
week before.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's a lot, but it's this High John the Conqueror is really powerful, and so it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like the star. So they just give different references, but I did pull up this book and just like a little excerpt just to show, you know, that it is written about how powerful this root is, and it's not the only powerful root. So this is just an excerpt. This is from I know it's a quote from Zora Neale Hurston, and this talks about the origin of hoodoo. And this is just a little part where she talks about Big John the Conqueror.
Mm-hmm.
She said that one that all the underhand work round here, even throwed it at me once, but she can't do nothing. Ah, my Big John the Conqueror is with me,
Mm-hmm.
and sprinkles mustard seed round my door every night before I goes to bed. And I
And remember
just
the saying. Remember the saying. If you have faith as small as a mustard seed.
mustard seed, yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, side note on that one.
yep.
And so here's a just a book recommendation. This is Hoodoo Heritage, a brief history of American folk religion by Megan Lane. So these are just you know, not only are you gonna learn about how John the Conqueror, you're gonna learn about some other roots. This book just talks about hoodoo versus voodoo, explains it, the African and Haitian roots of hoodoo conjure, uh, voodoo and IET, West African roots of American hoodoo conjure, and there's some European shit sprinkled in there, you know, African and Native American interaction. All right, let's go to that. Marie Laveau in New Orleans, New Orleans. So this is if y'all want to read about the origins of hoodoo. This is a good book reference. Let me go to this one.
Welcome to the show, everyone. Peace to everyone in the chat.
Peace to everybody in the chat. Okay, this just talks about it says African and Native American interaction in colonial America. The interaction between European and African conjurers was not the only instance of race relations in the development of hoodoo conjure. The contribution of Native Americans to hoodoo conjure in the United States is one that has very little mention in the history of the study of the practice. So a lot of people they just try to say, oh, it's African, it's diasporan, and it has European, but it also has American Indian um, elements and practices. Okay, and I ain't gonna really read all of this, but it's just saying that a lot of like exchanging of knowledge took place between Native Americans and African slaves and also Indian slaves. And when they say slaves, prisoners of war. So when you encounter people, especially in the Southeast, you do get a gumbo pot of spiritual culture. What's your take on it, cuz?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because you get a whole lot of people um that want to deny the African transatlantic slave trade, but yet We dealing with voodoo and uh certain information dealing with EFI, and you know, when you have people who are not in tribal nations, they're not gonna see this information, right? So you have to do some deep diving and keep digging into the mounds to actually see that yes, cultural exchange dealing with root work has this presence and shared amongst the native people of the Americas and the native people of Africa.
Yes. And like this even goes on to say by the 18th century, African and native populations outnumbered whites in the southern colonies, like South
Like
Carolina,
South
nearly
Carolina.
4 to 1 by the mid 1700s. The white population of South Carolina totaled 25,000, while the local prisoners of wars or slaves and Indian population stood at 40 and 60,000, respectfully. But I want to go down here where they said um, white colonists lived in constant fear that two peoples would join forces to drive their white exploiters out of America. They was in fear of the Indians and Africans, the diaspora, coming together. All right, so many measures were taken on the part of whites to prevent contact between them. Laws were enacted to prevent any quote unquote misnomer black person, slave or free, from entering Indian country. The Indian peoples were under constant pressure to return escaped slaves who had entered their country. Treaties that were signed between what became the United States and Indian nations like the Creek, Cherokee, and Choctaw almost always had clauses that required the return of any escaped slaves that may have been living in their land. Yeah, it says there were many instances of whites and state governments deliberately pitting the two groups against one another as well, in attempt to remind them that they were not friends. Ain't that a bitch? For example, misnomer black slaves were incorporated into the South Carolina militia during the government conflicts with the Tuscarora, the Yamasee, and the Cherokee nations.
Mm-hmm.
While Indians were often employed to help put down slave rebellions. During the Stono Rebellion in 1739, the South Carolina Assembly provided guns, ammunition, clothes, and supplies to Indian bounty hunters and promised 50 for each slave brought back alive, as well as 25 for every dead slave returned. So,
And you know that backfired, right? You know that backfired, right?
yeah, yeah. Like, how you gonna do that? Like, and then they talk about Hoodoo Conjure was born from the intimate triangular relationship between African, European, and American peoples. Native Americans were bought and sold as slaves and owned slaves of their own. Nations like the Creek, Seminole, Cherokee, and Chickasaw often held black slaves before and after the United States imposed its policy of removal.
Now, let's do this here. Let's do this here because
What's
we
up?
have to clear this up. When they said that the Seminoles had slaves, people, you have to understand it was a certain fraction of those nations that held slaves. The Red Sticks did not hold slaves. The Red Sticks was against slavery, but the whites that wanted to be like the Joneses, they the ones that had slaves. So when you hear so-called black power people or the Pan Africans say, "Oh, the Indians own slaves."
Only
You
a
think
small percentage of that.
you can't say the whole nation had
Yeah,
owned slaves because they didn't. Because
because
the red sticks was like, man, fuck that, y'all go fight with us. We ain't gonna make you be a slave. You know what I'm saying? So that's where
yeah,
you got a whole lot of people in them that who don't know the information or not in the tribal nation. Like, oh, the Native Americans and them, they own slaves. Like, nah, bruh. It's those that wanted to be like the so-called pale face were the ones that had slaves. But those
exactly.
the straight like fuck that shit. We go ride together, we go die together, we go be bad boys for life. Yeah, we did that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, and it gives an example. It said, aside from slavery, the Seminole Nation of Florida provides the most well known instance of Black and Indian cooperation, especially
See,
in relation to hoodoo.
cooperation. Mm-hmm. Go
In
ahead.
relation to hoodoo conjure. So, y'all can check this out if y'all want. It's an interesting read, but I mean, I just brought this up to show how
What's the
all
name
of
of the PDF?
those are in a pot of gumbo. All these cultures. What did you say?
What's the name of the PDF file? So I say it's PDF file. What's the
Yeah,
name?
it is Hoodoo Heritage: A Brief History of American Folk Religion by Megan Lane. Yeah, and it's basically just talking about hoodoo conjure. I guess you didn't hear me when I excuse me when I showed it before, but it has a lot of stuff in here um that I just read from the African and Native American interaction in colonial America.
Mm-hmm.
Um and they also talk about Marie Laveau in New Orleans, hoodoo, hoodoo conjure and folk religious practices as world religion. So this is just an interesting read if y'all wanna, you know, tap into that. Um, but we can close out. I know we
We
did
go.
talk about those
We gonna
houses.
go. We gonna go in the Q&A. We gonna go in the Q&A, question and
Yeah,
answer.
we
Do
can.
anybody have any questions? Do anybody have any questions?
Yeah, it does work when you're familiar with what the plants are. Nowadays, you can go to your local botanica and pick up you some herbs and some roots. It's good to know. Like I got some old books on herbs and roots, so they got pictures in it. So if you see the shit out in the wild, you can recognize it. I even have some cards that have herbs and roots on them, like some
Well,
oracle cards. So
if you have a smartphone, you can actually take a picture of the plant and ask what that plant is used for and what is
yeah, they got
yeah.
an app. Yeah, they got an app now that you can do that with. So it's some snazzy what technology where you can do that nowadays because somebody said that in the chat, so I was responding to that.
So anybody else have questions? It's the Q&A portion of the show. Don't be scared to ask questions now.
Okay. Existence of spirits in hoodoo conjure. They say ghosts and spirits. Um, all three cultures that are what hoodoo is made up of.
Oh,
Uh,
Bradley. Oh,
now,
Bradley asked a good question.
what
He
he
said,
say?
I wonder if there a connection between the medicine bundle and the mojo bag.
Yeah, we talked about that. I guess you missed the first part of it, and we just said basically they're the same thing, except um, it depends on what tribal nation you're from. Your medicine bag may be of deer skin, or it may be made of something else. But in hoodoo, you can make your mojo bag or your gree bag off of a flannel blanket, whatever, because you are the conjurer. So it's not so hoodoo. I love hoodoo because it's not so black and white. Like when I say black and white, like versus okay, in your tribal nation, if you from this tribe, your medicine bag is supposed to be deer skin or things of that nature. If in hoodoo, you go with the flow of the spirit. You're not just in a box. You like I have mojo and Gregory bags, and I have medicine bags, and they all made out of different things. Is what's important is what's inside of it. What roots, what herbs and roots you got inside of it that's powerful, and then you add some sacred stones, rocks, or crystals. Yeah,
Yeah, your medicine bundle is things that is kept sacred for the nation, and you have
that's a
each
fun.
clan. Listen, each clan will present something that can actually go into the medicine bundle.
Yeah, that's a bundle versus
Yeah,
your
it's a bundle. It's a medicine bundle
yeah.
instead of your own bag.
Mm,
With your own bag, you're doing it yourself. But with the medicine bundle, it actually comes from the different clans that actually have something to put inside of the bundle. And
right.
the bundle is taken out a certain time of the year. But with the mojo bag, you can take that out any time of the year.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
the medicine bundle is only bought out on special occasions.
yeah. There's also ancestral veneration in hoodoo and voodoo. Ancestor veneration, the elements. They have personified the elements, and they even personify herbs and roots, depending on what they are used for. So,
Oh,
uh,
not to cut you off. And
good. I'm good now.
um and a special someone has to be the only special someone to touch the medicine bundle. Just know any old body can touch the medicine bundle. The medicine bundle is touched specifically by certain people. But with your medicine bag, anybody can touch your medicine bag. But for the
But
medicine bundle,
no. Anybody can't touch it.
what I'm saying by that, what I mean by that, listen before you cut me off. Um, you have
Yeah,
people
clarify.
like your grandmother can touch your medicine bundle because she put the medicine in there because that's something that she gave to you. You know what I'm saying? Or your grandfather, or your uncle, or your auntie, who's your other mother. You know what I'm saying? But those people right there, they can't touch the medicine bundle. That's the difference. That's what I was saying. You didn't let me clarify that.
No,
That's what I.
I'm glad you did clarify, but you had stopped like you was done talking. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, your
No,
medicine bag, can't nobody touch your medicine bag unless you allow it. But you want to be careful. That's your medicine. So
yeah.
whoever you letting touch your shit, if you let somebody touch your shit, whatever's on them and whatever they practicing, They're
Go be on
they're contaminating your shit. So don't let nobody touch your medicine bag, your gree bag, your mojo bag, none of that. Yes, it is sacred. It's all sacred. We just made the distinction of your personal ones, and then you have your medicine bundle within your tribal nation.
Yeah, nobody. No, you got to be real special to touch that medicine bundle. You got to be real special.
Yeah, and y'all should treat y'all medicine bags and mojo and gree bags the same way.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
just can't let no outsiders touch it.
mm-mm. Any other questions in the chat? Yeah, later you can rewind, Bradley, because we did discuss that. But thank you for asking that question. Peace to all our family in the chat. Yeah, so if
And then
y'all
you know, and then
question,
your medicine bundle is made out of certain animal skin.
right, right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I said, it may be deer skin for one. It just depends on your tribal nation what it's made out of. So
Uh-huh.
y'all do y'all research of your tribal nation and find out what it's made out of.
Question: Um, why we don't hear no other um podcasts talking about tribal traditions and things that we do?
I can't speak on nobody else. I can just speak on me and what we do here, and that's my focus.
Yeah, we ain't dealing with that BS. Yeah, Bradley. Oh, thank you. We appreciate you from tuning in. You know what I'm saying? Because people, we have to deal with our traditions and everything, which mostly some traditions parallel with other tribes,
Yes, they
right?
do.
Dealing with the southeastern part, I cover mine up and go inside the store. The other place, just in case someone wants to touch my medicine bag. Nah, they're not supposed to touch it. You never let them touch it. If they're like, oh, let me touch, you can't touch it because that falls under the American Indian or Native American religious rights. You know what
Excuse
I'm
me.
saying? That's dealing with it on the law side. You know, they can't tell you to take it off. You know what I'm saying? You wear that anywhere, you wear it at work. You know, I wear mine to work, when
Yeah,
I feel
too.
say so they already know when I come in there, they like, oh yeah, yeah, and the people in them be all like and they be asking questions. So it becomes the opportunity to teach where people can learn, you know what I'm saying? Because people in them don't understand. They'd be like, "Oh, we don't believe in that, and this, and no weapon formed against me shall prosper, and all that." There, well, that's an affirmation of a spell right there. You know what I'm saying? But they don't know it, you know. But yeah, they say things and not even knowing that what they say, life and death is in the tongue, but I wouldn't suggest somebody speak ill or death towards somebody. Always speak life. You know what I'm saying? Because if you do something wrong, like to cause harm to someone and they never done you anything, they come back at you 10 times strong. But you do have the right to defend yourself in the spiritual world because you do have people that like to send shit at you. You don't know why you sick. You go to the doctor and the doctors and them can't find nothing wrong with you. You know, they don't tell people about spiritual baths. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's the spiritual ointments and everything because
exactly.
it's just like I was speaking to another partner of mine. I say certain things. You were like dealing with the Bible and stuff. I say, look, I don't throw the whole Bible away. I say it's just like chicken. You take the meat and throw away the bone. I say sometimes you don't throw away the bone. You take the bone and you boil it and you get that good flavor out the marrow of the bone. To make chicken soup. So
Yeah, it's
you
the
and that
interpretation.
and, that,
You
and that's
gotta
and that's
interpret it
huh?
different. I
What
said
you
you
say,
just got
cuz?
to interpret it different. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, than the average Christian going to church. I know the esoteric meanings of the Bible, so you can't take it like literal, but you gotta know. You gotta do some research on that. But
Because you got people in them that talk about sage. Oh, you don't supposed to be using sage. That's demonic. I said, who told you using sage is demonic? When it was burning sage in the temple.
right, you're
It,
right. We did touch on that. What the other show about incense and um different incense, frankincense and myrrh to be
yeah,
exact.
frankincense and
But
myrrh and
yeah,
Politan toast and everything. And yeah,
yeah. I
certain incense,
also this other thing about okay, this is from the Cherokee Phoenix, the
the
newspaper
newspaper.
publication. All right.
Hmm.
It just talks about just some examples of herbs, roots, and berries that are important to the Jalagi, Ani Kitawagi, Ani Mwaya Cherokee people. All right, you got yellow dock. All right, it's yellowish brown roots. All right, it just says how long the roots are, and it's just describing it. It was used for food. Roots and the leaves were herbal remedies. Juices from the stems can be made into ointment, which is ground up roots mixed with lard. It is used for itching, irritations such as poison ivy, minor sores, diaper rash, and other irritations. Now, everybody kind of know about elderberry because that kind of got popular after the pandemic, but we won't even mention that because we ain't getting dinged. But elderberry or American elder has shrubs, and it describes how it looks. The bark, when aged, can be used as a diuretic, which can increase the flow of urine. So if you're having trouble, you need to see some urologists, but you can deal with some herbs and roots. So this helps to increase the flow of urine. The berries, which are high in antioxidants, have been used traditionally in food, but also can be used as cough syrup. Recent
You
studies
heard,
show
hey,
that
you heard what she
we're
said. You heard
looking,
what she said, Lord.
they
Lord.
in, they increase your immune system and fight cancer and HIV. Those are important things.
She said, Lord. Y'all know where Lord come from, right? That's pig fat. The Lord.
Yeah, it can be mixed with that to make an ointment to
So when you got people talking about, I don't eat pork, I don't eat pork. Well, guess what? If you want to heal yourself and make that staff, you're going to have to use pig, Lord.
yeah, that's another, you go with the flow of your ancestors, whoever you are out there. We are just talking about um hoodoo, which has American Indian spirituality and diasporic spirituality. And because we encountered the Europeans, they got some of their shit in there. Excuse me. But we just going over our stuff and the herbs and
Mhm.
roots that are important to us. It's medicine, it's healing. So these are just examples that I pulled up from the Cherokee Phoenix.
Any more questions? Any more questions?
See. Another one was mullein. I love mullein. Um,
You can make mullet tea and everything.
Yes, I have mullein. It really helped during that, a couple of years ago, the pandemic. Um, it does help with respiratory things. Like even you can just here we go. Let me share this. Okay.
Well, I mean, you had the Celtics and you had the Druids. They had their medicines and everything dealing with Wicca and stuff, So yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So that's why I said y'all, look at the herbs and roots that were important to your ancestors and see how you can incorporate that in your everyday life.
right.
Especially the stuff that's medicine. It's for healing, not the poison shit. But it lists I did do this overview. Mullein is important, sumac, yellow dock, yarrow, black cohosh. This is good for women, especially American ginseng, blue skull cap, hummingbird blossoms, red maple leaves.
Dandelion, sassafras.
Yes, oh definitely. Um definitely. So yeah, like we said in the podcast before last,
Mulberries.
yes, mulberries. Look in your cabinet. All that rosemary, thyme,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Bay leaf.
ginger, bay leaf, nutmeg.
Cayenne.
Yes, cayenne, black pepper, cinnamon. You name it.
Mm-hmm.
Just look up the healing properties of it and the spiritual
Flaxseed.
properties. Yes, the spiritual properties. You want to look at that also.
Golden seal.
Yes, golden seal is a big one. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So just look up the ones that are important to your people. And if y'all don't have any more questions,
Tobacco.
out of here. Of
Tobacco.
course, tobacco. I
Mm-hmm.
use tobacco. Um,
Rabbit tobacco.
yes. Yeah, so yeah, do the research on your herbs and roots and incorporate them in your life, especially if it's used for healing, for medicine.
Cedar.
Yes, cedar, sweetgrass. Um,
Peppergrass. Yep.
yes.
Lavender.
Mm,
Yeah. You'd be surprised.
yes, it's a lot of herbs and roots can incorporate into your life. And we're gonna get out of here. Um, yeah, cause I got something to do, and Pa got something to do. So, we'll see y'all next Sunday, 6:30
Well,
p.m. Standard
let me put
Time.
this plug let me put this plug in. I'm about to get ready to go join my family and them over there at um the autonomous party over there be coming on right after this. So you
Yeah,
probably want to go to the autonomous party with Brother Mac and everything, and Brother Kofi and them. And I'm gonna be on there. We're gonna be breaking down certain misinformation. So that's gonna be a good show. So
yeah, y'all
please
tune in. He gonna be a
tune in.
special guest on there, y'all. So
Gonna be a special guest on there. So go to the autonomous party and to their page, just put in autonomous party on YouTube and it's gonna come up. So I'll be on after I get off of here, So right now they're in the music DJ portion part, but 9 o'clock that's when I come on. So I see y'all over there. Uh a podcast uh host's job is never done when you're putting out good information and correct information, because you got people out there that's telling people fallacies and they believe in it, and it's a
Right.
shame. Yeah, it's
And
a shame.
big up to all the podcasts out there that are, like minded like us, where we want to share the truth, you know, the real raw facts about indigenous information, indigenous and misnomer Creole um facts. So y'all go check Pie out and we out. Peace.
Yeah, that's the name. That's the name of the title. Is, the title is called